Hello everybody, welcome to our first episode of This Month We Played for the month of October, where myself, Shane, and my co-host Ali will be discussing the games that we've played over the last month, and what we really thought about them, and why we really liked them, and all that kind of stuff. So, I'll start off. This last month, I finally played Gris.
Gris, I think it's
Gris? Okay.
Like the Spanish word for gray.
Yeah. It took me 3 hours to beat. I literally streamed it. I beat it in one sitting. It was a really, really awesome art experience.
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was super cool. It was a great experience. I bought it on sale. Because it's only 3 hours long, I can understand not wanting to purchase it at its full price, which I believe is $15. It's not.
It's either 15 or 20.
Yeah.
The eShop might have a slightly different price than the.
Yeah, I did.
Because I played on the Switch a couple months ago.
Yeah, but I liked it a lot. I did not 100% it.
Yeah.
I might come back to do that at some point, but it's one of those things where it was a really good experience, and Aaron suggested it to me, so I really enjoyed that. So is what's a game that you've been playing this month?
Well, I do want to say, just watching your Gris stream, one thing I made me realize was how good the music is. Because I remember listening to it when I played the first time, wow, this is good music, and I sort of forgot about it for a bit. But then I had it was playing, while you were playing the game, and I'm like, wow, the music's really good.
Yeah. The sound design and the art design in that game are fantastic.
Yeah, the art's beautiful. As for, I guess I'm trying to remember all the games I played this month, chronologically. The one I started this month playing was The Somnium Files, which is a Spike Chunsoft game, so the makers of Danganronpa and Zero Escape. Directed by the director of Zero Escape, Kotaro Uchikoshi, who's a very good writer, and I got this game just because he wrote those games, or he wrote Zero Escape, he didn't write Danganronpa. So I was really excited for seeing that he had a new game coming out, which the last game he made is very divisive because the budget was kind of ruined, which that's a different thing to get into, but this game had a really big budget. It had really good visuals and everything. It was marketed really well. It had one cool thing that had its marketing was it had a ARG with it, which made me really interested in the game. And playing it, it's a detective game, kind of like Phoenix Wright-y, I guess also Danganronpa-y, split into two sections, an investigation section and a Somnium section. It has a very good mystery plot, and it's the really cool kind of mystery writing that Uchikoshi does, where the games tend to have branching narratives, where often how the game resolves is you need information from one branch to help you clear something on another branch, and this continues all the way until you get to the true ending of the game. This game was a lot less about that than Zero Escape was, where Zero Escape, each game, it was so important to find the true ending. Here, the endings are so different and varied that it really makes it feel like each one's sort of canon in its own way, and you can really choose which of the paths you kind of want to view as your ending. But the true ending does exist to give you the answer to the mystery that the game proposes. It has a lot of really good theming, really good music. It has an iffy script, but it's the script that's iffy in how it's executed, or not how it's executed, just iffy by design, because it's all a part of the mystery.
Yeah.
But I really like the way his games are made, because they're all these massive mysteries that all the hints exist for, that you can decipher if you're really thinking about it as you play the game. I deciphered most of it, but I still had a lot of fun with it.
Okay, yeah. That sounds like a pretty cool experience.
Yeah, it may not be worth it because it's a full retail game at $60. I played it for about 35 hours, which some people might not justify for a visual novel type of game. Mm-hmm. But I think it's worth it just for the experience of the writing alone. But you probably want to try to get it on sale.
Yeah. Another game that I played this last month that came out, Gris didn't come out this month, but
yeah.
A game that I played this last month that did come out was Indivisible. And I streamed most of that game. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. It was a really cool game. The art was great, and I love, the developers of Skullgirls and what they did with it and everything. You could tell just a little bit that they were kind of pressured to release it, to push it out, because there are certain things that the game has that are a little bit unfinished. The combat doesn't have the depth that I would like to see, in which I think they plan on putting in the future. It's definitely one of those things where I'm going to play it again several months down the line, and it's going to be a different experience, I think.
Yeah.
Especially they're going to have tons of new characters and stuff like that. And there's no New Game Plus option, which is very unfortunate. I know they plan on adding that. So I'm waiting for a reason to replay through it and make my experience entirely different. Another issue I had with it was that the difficulty, when you get to a certain point in the game, drops off very heavily. All of the out-of-boss encounters are very, very easy. And so it doesn't really make me really care about strategy as much. I just kind of figure out a rotation and just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And since I've played it, they have done tuning to the difficulty. I haven't played it since they did that, but I'm waiting for them to do more with the game. Add new characters and add more content before I replay through the whole thing. And the one thing I really wanted it to do that it didn't make me do, which was I wanted it to make me consider what my party was and the composition of my party. There's a point in the game where you reach an enemy that hurts you for dealing physical, melee damage to it. So I switched my whole party to range damage dealers so I could get around that and deal with that. And I had to fight a boss that way. Where the boss, the first time I fought it kicked my ass because I had a bunch of melee damage dealers and they all died. So I thought that was really cool, but no other part of the game really made me feel like I needed to do that. But it was a really cool game. Art design's fantastic. The music is pretty good. I didn't think it was incredible music, but I thought it was good.
I really like the music. I really like Hiroki Kikuda's stuff. I believe that's who the composer is. The composer. I know it's the same composer from the Secret of Mana games.
Yeah. Maybe it's just because I felt like the soundtrack wasn't as wide. So I felt like I heard the same song more frequently than I felt like I should have. But again, I mean, it's a very, indie developed game. It's not a $60 retail game. It's a $40 price tag.
I believe, yeah.
Yeah. I got it slightly on discount because they had the whole release thing, but I felt it was worth the money I paid, and I really enjoyed it. But it only took me about $22 to beat, which for an RPG, that's not necessarily a super lengthy time because a lot of the time RPGs take a really long time to beat. And so if you feel like that's not enough time for the price tag of $40, fully understandable. And the game's going to have a lot of work done to it by the time anybody picks it up in about half a year or a year down in time. Yeah.
Yeah, Indivisible also is one I played, though I have not finished it, mostly at the suggestion of you and some of our other friends who said to maybe wait for the game to get a bit more robust. I really enjoyed what I played through it. I got through the first two areas. I backed that game after the first prototype was announced. I don't even remember how many years ago now, 5 years ago, I think.
Quite a while.
And I really loved the strength of that prototype. Was really strong. It pretty much was Now, the Ruins area, I think, is meant to be the redesigned version of what was in that prototype. But I just really love Metroidvanias, and I love, JRPGs, and I like fighting games, and that game did, a pretty good fusion of all those. I felt with the first prototype, and that's why I backed it. I really enjoyed what I played. I just, like I said, haven't got back to it because of... I've had a lot of, games come out around, this time that I've been trying to... get through all of them before certain other games come out, like Death Stranding coming out next week.
Yeah.
And those sorts of things. But I do really want to get back to that. I also have an attachment to it, obviously, because I backed it. I can't wait to see my name in the credits. That sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I also really... One other thing about the aesthetics of the game, I really like Ajna's voice actress. She did a really good job.
Yeah, I think... I like the voice acting in the game a lot. I think they did a very good job with it. I think... There's very few characters in the game where I wasn't super fond of their voice. Most of the voice acting work is very, very well done. And they bring in people like, Dar is voiced by the same voice actor who does young Joseph inside of JoJo, and also he does number 1 in Kids Next Door, which is always funny to think of. And then they also brought in Matt Mercer. I mean, Matt Mercer does... He's known for McCree inside of Overwatch, and he also played a JoJo. He also played Jotaro, and then he's voicing the Archer character, which is actually surprisingly not as significant to the plot. But he's part of the group of characters that talks a lot. There's not a ton of the characters have character progression, quote unquote, but there's a group of probably 8 of them that talk a lot. And then the rest of them are kind of just there and occasionally say something, but not very often, which is understandable. I mean, you can't really get to the point where you have all of these characters integral to the...
Especially since a lot of them are optional. Like,
Yeah.
you saw that all the time with, like, old JRPGs having these hidden characters that by proxy of them being super hidden, if the game's super narrative, they often don't contribute a lot to the narrative.
They do have a feature where if you use the character enough, they have, like, instead of having levels, they just kind of have, like, a heart thing that goes up.
Yeah.
And if you get it high enough, you can actually go on a specific quest for that character. So that's super important to, like, you know, having some kind of narrative to everybody. So I did appreciate that they had that there. I didn't know it was there, so that's something I'm excited to do when I play through again, because I'm very specific when I play through games like that, where, like, I wanted every character to maintain leveling evenly and, like, be able to use anybody at any time. And so because of that, I did not reach that point with any character to do their mission, and I missed out on that part. I also missed out on one character. I missed out on the character named Ren, because there weren't a lot of guides telling you how to get every character, so he was just the one I didn't encounter. So my second playthrough won't be entirely exclusively new stuff. Like, all of those missions existed, and I missed those. And Ren I missed, but that's all, like, pretty late game stuff. So my idea of, like, playing through the early game just to play some more later game stuff that I missed, I want more to be in the game before I give it its replay. Another game I've been playing this month, because it came out, is Outer Worlds.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I've been streaming some of that. Outer Worlds is a lot of fun. It's wacky. It's, you know, it's supposed to be, you know, corporatism gone awry in space in the future, and there's a lot of that. There's a lot of, like, essentially corporate indentured servitude and all of these ridiculous characters who talk about the corporation, like, owning them as a person, and all that stuff. So the narrative in it is pretty cool. It's a lot like Fallout New Vegas. It definitely...
But the same developers, Yeah,
it definitely... Which I recently learned, actually, is one of the people on that team worked on the original Fallout games.
Yeah.
And one of the big things that they try to keep in that game, I feel like, isn't as important in Fallout, like Fallout 3, Fallout 4, is that I love to play the I talk my way out of everything character. I put so many points into dialogue.
Yeah. I
shoot really good, and I talk really good. That's what my character does. So I'm like a dashing rogue character, and it's been a lot of fun because I get all of these specific results where I just convince everybody to do everything by just talking to them.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of fun. I think the companions are pretty interesting and pretty fun. One of them is like a engineer character who she has like a romantic subplot that you kind of like talk her through.
Yeah.
And that's really funny. She's interested in the engineer who is also... She's also an engineer on another ship you go to. And so that was a lot of fun, and the combat in the game is fun. I like the replacement they had for the VAT system, where instead you slow down time.
Yeah.
So you slow down time, but you still have to aim. So it's not like pick a body part. You just shoot wherever you want to shoot.
Do they move slowly?
Yes, the enemy does.
They're not completely still.
Yeah, they move slowly, yeah. And it's just for a specific duration. I think it's smoother than VATS, because VATS always felt very, like...
Jarring,
because you paused everything. And then it had, like, the percentage chances, where this is just shoot it. Just, like, shoot in the area. And I like that a lot more. I think that's a better system. I think the skill point system in this is nice. You start off by leveling everything within a section, but once you get to a high enough level, you have to specifically level different things. So, for instance, I was leveling dialogue, and that's, like, intimidation, intimidation, convincing people, and then, there's one other one. I can't remember the other one. But you have to eventually level up intimidation separately from the other ones after you get to the dialogue to a certain level. So I thought that was pretty good system. It has a weapon degradation system where everything degrades over time. Yeah. I'm not super into those.
Like just over time passing, or just per every usage?
Oh, okay. You have to repair it. Like the other Fallout games have had.
Yeah.
And it's I don't really like those systems. That's probably my least favorite part of Breath of the Wild, actually. But I understand why they're there, and it's not like annoying and problematic as much as other ones have been before for me. And you come across new equipment all the time, so I don't really feel like half the time I don't even repair any of my stuff because I just find new stuff to use. So that game's been really fun. I've been really happy. It's on Game Pass.
Yeah.
So that's kind of helped because I own Game Pass. Because I know a lot of people try to avoid the Epic Game Store They don't really want to like buy things on the Epic Game Store because of the way that they try to coerce people into being exclusive. And that's the thing, is there's a lot of things that are coming out, I think, that are also going to be on Game Pass as well as the Epic Game Store. So that's interesting, but those are the single player games I've been playing mostly.
Yeah.
So is there anything you were doing Somnium, and you were doing the Somnium Files, and you were also doing Invisible? Was there another game that you've been playing?
I'm trying to think. It's not normally a single player game. It's a game I play single player, at least through the campaign. But I play Monster Hunter World Iceborne, the
Gotcha.
DLC expansion for Monster Hunter World. I usually the way I play Monster Hunter games is I try to beat every non-event quest, so all the quests that come with the expansion and aren't seasonal. I usually try to beat all of those without dying and single player before I do it in multiplayer. Because usually it's just a lot easier in multiplayer. Like, even though the monster difficulty and like health values scale up, it is just a lot easier to have someone else to go through it with you. So I always try to do it solo by myself. I've just done that ever since the first Monster Hunter games I played, like 3 and 4 Ultimate, which I enjoy doing. Monster Hunter Iceborne is great. I spend way too much time there. That's probably the game I play like the most this month. And then other single player game I played is I'm playing through the first Danganronpa game right now. Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc. Pretty now. I guess it's a pretty ubiquitous like visual novel type of game, especially in like the post like Phoenix Wright era, where it's a lot similar. More Phoenix Wright's a pretty direct not competitor, but influence on it, because it has the same sort of thing with investigation phase and then a trial phase. I think it does a good job at trying to make it so it's not exactly imitating Phoenix Wright. In doing so, I think it loses some things I think made Phoenix Wright a more compelling court drama. And I feel like all your evidence is used better in Phoenix Wright, where often each piece of evidence you find in the investigation phase has like multiple consequences in the trial phase. And I feel like Danganronpa doesn't do that better, where each thing you can usually tell, especially because the way its system works, where it abstracts the court into like a sort of truth bullet system where you load a gun with your truth ammo. Most of the times it gives you the one ammo you need. Though the last trial, which I did last night actually, had a bit more interesting mechanics where you had to make your own bullets out of people's contradictions later in their sort of diatribes. And they do try to do stuff with like, here's 3 pieces of information and you need to find which one of them is actually relevant. But that's certainly a lot easier than Phoenix Wright's like, find from your entire list of evidence which one applies to this situation.
Yeah.
It was also a lot more forgiving, which is fine. But I've been really enjoying it still. I like the sort of visual novel murder game kind of mystery thing to solve. So I can't wait to finish that and then move on to the rest of the series. Because 1 is the only one I had any sort of cursory knowledge of, and I have very little knowledge of 2 and 3. I think that covers every single-player game. Well, I play most of my games single-playerly, but
yeah,
I think those are the ones that you can directly call single-player games.
Yeah, I've been playing a game called Northgard, which isn't a game's not new, but it got a big update recently this month, where it added what's called Conquest.
Yeah, Danganronpa is also not new, just to clarify.
Yeah.
It's a very old game now.
Well, you did say it was the first in a series.
Yeah.
So with Northgard is like Viking clans. It's kind of like it's a strategy game, but it's interesting because a lot of it is trying to make sure that you have enough supply. So you're making sure that you have enough wood and food to like keep your village warm and feed your people, but also you're trying to expand and you're trying to win through multiple different ways. You can win through like becoming a lord of trade or becoming the most famous person in the land. So it's kind of like a Civ style thing where you can win through alternative ways other than just conquering everyone. Yeah. And the Conquest mode is like a series of missions where you get bonuses between them, and you can you have to follow a specific objective. So it's kind of like an expansion that's in a way similar to a campaign, but it doesn't have like a narrative story. Yeah. But you can play it as a 2-person co-op team with a friend. So I've been playing it with my friend Tyler, and it's been a pretty good time. We've been enjoying it. We did run into a glitch where we literally couldn't play one of the missions. Every time we tried to do it as a pair, it wouldn't load in, and we'd have to close the game and start it. But it branches into multiple branches, so we just went to the other branch and did the other mission. Yeah. And that's been a lot of fun. Also, all of the like DLC clans went on sale, so I picked up all the DLC. So I've been trying out the newer ones that I didn't have before. And that's been a lot of fun. I appreciate that game keeps consistently releasing really some nice expansions and stuff and making the game more interesting. And the only issue I have with it really is just that the game, like, it takes a long time. Like,
as far as, like, playing it takes a long time?
Yeah, if I want to do a mission, I have to dedicate, like, an hour to 2 hours. Like, an hour and a half to 2 hours. And it's straight up, like, if you fail the mission, you're like...
wasted that much time.
I guess I have to do it again, yeah. And the it's funny because they added the rewards where, that game is... Its original rewards were like, oh, if you beat every mission in the campaign on, like, the hardest difficulty, you unlock alternate skins for these characters. It's the only way you could do it.
Yeah.
And then, and it was like a secret that people just kind of whispered about, and nobody actually really, like, talked about it that much. Well, this one, they told you, hey, you unlock a new visual for, like, your lodge, which is, like, your main, home structure. You can't build more of them. You unlock a new skin that's specific to the clan if you beat that clan's conquest. But that takes a long-ass time to do. So, I'm working on that. Right now, I think the one I'm furthest in is the Horse Clan, which is, like, the people who, like, tend to the forge.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun. That's been pretty interesting. Other than that, I've mostly just been playing stuff like, I've still been playing some Gears of War with friends. I've been enjoying that a lot. There's a lot of criticism coming from people about, like, the balancing of the multiplayer. I'm not a super competitive multiplayer player with that game, so I don't really know. But they have been tuning it. It's running off a live service model, which it's not awful, but I do wish they would update it quicker, because they released the game and then they haven't done anything other than, like, add some really tedious to unlock characters, but also you can buy them for $5, so either you can grind or give us money in our $60 game. I don't have an issue with the live service model as much as somebody who would have bought the game for $60 does, because I'm just using Game Pass to play it. So I can understand the frustration from people who paid a full price. I've been playing Apex. It's been pretty fun. I've been liking the new character. Crypto's fun. I like his drone and how that functions. I like the fact that his EMP can affect allies as well as enemies.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily this, like, throw out the drone and EMP if people are near you, because you'll blow your own shields off. They need to do a hot fix so you can't just drop your shields and pick them back up after the EMP stops, because that's a feature, and it's kind of a problem, because competitively people are doing that. But and they added a new map. That's the big thing, is, like, the new map came out, and that's been a lot of fun to use. I haven't really played too much of their Halloween specific mode, but yeah, that's singles, and I like teams of 3. I didn't really care for the single drops.
Yeah.
I think that's mostly what I've been up to this month. I can't really think of any games. I've revisited a couple for Halloween. I revisited Darkest Dungeon. I've been playing a little bit of it with mods.
Yeah.
And I've revisited XCOM a little bit because I'm kind of excited for Phoenix Point to come out down the line. But those are all the games I've been really playing this month.
Yeah, I actually forgot 2 single-player games because I've been very bad about... one of them's like a game I sort of, like, boot up every so often just to kind of, like, play when I'm bored. And specifically don't want, like, any other game, which is Persona 3 Dancing in Moonlight. Mostly because it's just a fun rhythm game. Sometimes I want to hear the remixes of Persona music and play a pretty fun rhythm game, even though it's, like, very hard for my brain to comprehend how that rhythm game works. Mostly because it's weird having, like, a big TV and, like, having to monitor a certain section of the TV really heavily and, like, move it. Because I'm not sure if you've seen how that game moves.
No.
It uses the outer 3 buttons on each side of the PS3.
Mm-hmm.
So it uses, like, down, left, right, cross, circle, triangle. So those are the 6 points on the screen, and notes fly from the center towards a point. They always go in a clockwise fashion, unless it's, like, a double note. Mm-hmm. At least on the difficulties I've been playing. It's sort of hard for me to pay attention to the whole screen, so I often, like, compartmentalize what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
But it makes it, when they send a double note, it kind of, like, trips my brain really bad. But it's just a fun rhythm game. I wouldn't say it's, like, super good for, like, a price point value, because you kind of, like, don't get a lot for the full dollar price of the game. But now it's cheap because they sell the Endless Night Collection, which has P3 dancing, P5 dancing, and P4 dancing for a lot cheaper than it was at launch, because that was $100 at launch, and now it's as I've seen it as small as like $40 because they're just trying to get rid of all the copies of this they have because it did not sell well.
Gotcha.
And then the other one is Fire Emblem Three Houses, which I've still not completed a playthrough of. I've been playing through very slowly, though I do enjoy the game a lot. Its only issue is I've been really into Danganronpa right now, and Monster Hunter always takes some time, so I don't have all the time for Fire Emblem. And I'm not sure when I'm going to get the time, because Death Stranding will be out soon, and then Pokemon Sword and Shield, and that's going to compete with it very heavily.
Yeah, Three Houses is one of those things where I've heard a lot of positive things about it, and I want to try it out, but I don't own it, and, it's not something I really want to go buy for full price right now.
It's very worth it, at least. There's, because each campaign, from what I hear, is roughly, 60 to 80 hours.
Jeez.
And there's 4 different campaigns in the game.
I still need to play Octopath Traveler.
I still need to play that, too.
Yeah,
I played the demo of that. There's just too many games on Switch, which is a good problem to have.
Yeah, it is.
But I don't have enough time for that as an adult.
Yeah, I noted the games that I'm interested coming out, and probably be trying to play next month. I mean, I need to play Octopath Traveler. I've been kind of craving to play more. While I was playing Darkest Dungeon, I'm like, man, I kind of want to play a big RPG, a big adventure RPG. And I was like, maybe I should try and play Octopath Traveler. I'll continue to play Outer Worlds because that has a lot more gameplay left for me. And then over this next month, I'm going to try and play. I haven't played Hollow Knight.
I also haven't played it.
And that's a big one.
Yeah.
Hollow Knight is on the Game Pass, so I should be playing that. I'm going to be trying to play Ori and the Blind Forest. I just still need to play that game, and I'm sure I'll love it. And I still need to play through Wargroove, which is another game that I've heard a lot of positive stuff about. And I would like to play that as well, because I used to play Advanced Wars, and I liked that a lot. Do you have any games you're planning to play over the next month?
Pretty much the 2 I said with Death Stranding, Pokemon Sword and Shield. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll finish a playthrough of Fire Emblem.
Oh yeah, Sword and Shield is coming out next month.
The week after Death Stranding. I'm going to definitely play more Monster Hunter. I meant to bring it up too with just some of the multiplayer games that I play every so often when I'm bored and want something to do while I listen to a podcast or something and don't want to boot up Monster Hunter. I just play random matches of Smash Online, mm-hmm. Smash Ultimate. I recently picked up BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle again, which mostly because I just felt like playing a more traditional fighting game that wasn't Smash.
Oh, that's such a daunting game.
Yeah. I just press buttons in that game and pick different teams that I think are cool.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. When does Terry come out for Smash?
November. I guess November is coming up. So there's a rumor of a direct either the 6th or the 13th of November. I don't think these rumors have been substantiated by someone more credible, but we have a Nintendo Direct coming soon. Yeah. A lot of people are speculating Terry will drop with the Direct.
Oh, Terra.
So I can't wait for that. The only other game I really play every so often, whenever it has an event, I usually boot up Tetris 99, the best battle royale. Today, I did it this past month just because this last weekend they had an event for Luigi's Mansion 3 coming out, which comes out tomorrow as of recording this.
Hell yeah.
Which... There's too many games.
I gotta play Luigi's Mansion as well.
Yeah, I want to get it, but I know I realistically wouldn't play it anytime soon. I also got Link's Awakening, and I still haven't played it yet.
Yeah, I haven't been touching Dota for a while now, but when that gets its big update that adds, Granny with a shotgun and Void Spirit, I'm excited to... Spitfire's the actual name. I'm excited to play those characters and see what they do to mix up the game, so... We'll see. League of Legends' new season is coming out, and usually I just come back to those games whenever new content comes out and all my friends are playing them. November will be a pretty interesting month for playing games.
I'm very excited for Death Stranding and Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Yeah, well, you'll have to get back to me on how good those are.
Yes.
And we'll try and do this again next month.
Yep.
So, good to see you, Ollie, and keep on gaming, brother.
I will do, brother.
Gamerize me, Captain. Bye.